welcome everyone to Love and the Planets. This is the week of August 13th, and I am Margaret Gray in Dublin, Ireland.
And I'm Armand Diaz in Long Island, New York. And Margaret, wow, after so many weeks of excitement and so on, I look towards this as a relative break in the action.
Yes, we've got another one of those weeks where we can take, a deep breath. So even though we've still got a lot of planets that are retrograde, finally the Mars-Uranus tension is easing off a little bit. We're over all the eclipses, and at the end of the week, Mercury is going stationary direct. So we're still not out of it because, of course, it's in shadow, and we've still got Mars retrograde. But I think this week we can just sit back a little bit, and relationships may not feel so tense. I mean, there's been a lot of tension in relationships over the last few weeks. So I think this really gives us a breather, and also the potential to really communicate in maybe an easier way with our loved ones.
I think, one of the things that we're experiencing now, because we have Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn, is that Libra is getting kind of beat up a little bit, because when the moon goes through Libra and Venus is in Libra, it's not, we'll be getting to that soon enough. It's not the easiest energy. And then when she goes into Scorpio, which is usually this big tense time, she's meeting with Jupiter, she's sextiling Saturn and, opposing Uranus. But it's I feel that it's almost like an easier energy now in Scorpio. You can sort of dig deep, and for communication, for connection on many levels.
Yes, I think one of the important things really that this summer has highlighted so far is that we have to be authentic. We have to speak our truth. We have to be in our truth. And that's particularly important, of course, when we're in relationship with others, because we can't hide things anymore. So I think that's what some of the challenges have been, that, we are speaking our truth more. Now, it's interesting because Mercury is going to be sextile Venus towards the weekend. So the weekend has some interesting energies. And I think that's going to be a particularly good time to maybe think about the conversations we want to have once Mercury goes direct, because it's a much softer aspect than Mercury has had in the past. What do you think, Armand?
We might wind up going back to a conversation we've had before, but it may be sort of still hanging in the air. It's not really it's going to be resolved soon enough in the following week when Mercury goes direct. It might sort of hang there for a little while unresolved, but need to be discussed, or maybe not need to be discussed. Maybe we can just think about it.
Yes, it just has a softer feel about it than some of the harsh aspects we've really had the past few weeks. Now, with Mercury going stationary direct at the same time as Jupiter is trine Neptune, that feels like really it ends the week on a pretty good note. That I think we feel Mercury shifting gears. So it's like there's always that sigh of relief that it's so much easier to connect with other people once Mercury goes stationary direct. And the Jupiter trine Neptune feels like new possibilities, something new, particularly in the arena of love, of romance. What do you think?
Well, we're coming up to the first quarter moon, and that's a time of beginnings, not beginnings in the sense of the new moon, but initiation. Mercury stationary direct, what you're saying is true, but I would give it a couple of days for Mercury to get moving forward. And that Jupiter-Neptune trine, which is the third in the series, that has real potential, I think, for imagination. And I would sort of say take the weekend to just kind of step back, enjoy yourself, get a little lost in a fantasy, try, a little romantic type of thing would be nice. Don't take it so seriously just yet.
Yes, the last one was in May, in fact. And before I forget, just to remind everyone that we will be doing our workshop together in Ireland, of course, on compatibility in relationships. If you're anywhere near Dublin on September 2nd, please join us. We'd love to see you. So yes, really that this weekend, kind of this coming weekend, feels like maybe a weekend that we could really spend some nice time with, you know, with our significant other, with friends, with family. Maybe just do something that kind of is enjoyable, that we can go out for dinner and not feel quite so stressed and tense. I guess maybe we're setting the bar a little low, but I think after the weeks we've had, this is really a little bit of relief.
I think with Mercury stationing, it's a good idea to sort of keep expectations in check. You know, I mean, your dinner reservations may get lost, you know. A little Jupiter Neptune works on a lot of levels, but I think in terms of what we're doing out in our personal lives, allow a little serendipity to take over. The Sagittarius moon is going to help with that. Well, you know, just sort of go with the flow a little bit rather than sort of trying to stick to plans.
So enjoy your week, Armand, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.